around my waist, one on each leg, one on each arm, trying to strip the ball out my hand. And I got a whole trail of them behind me, and I'm still breaking records, smashing through the end zone.
Exactly. Cause I just wanted you to point that out, cause we go through a lot as the chosen ones, as the one that got the light, and then there's people that pull on you and try to dim your light, and then you feel like you got to step back yourself. You ain't got to step back shit. I ain't mean to say that, Facebook. Educational purposes only, but you got to set back for nothing. You just got to keep moving. Keep, like you said, you Barry Sanders. Keep moving and keep going forward. Like,
when you
go
beat
ahead.
the opposition, you Bo Jackson and run harder.
Exactly.
That's
I
it.
just wanted my peoples to get to know that though, because my people seem like they gotta keep helping people that ain't even for them,
Well,
that people that ain't even serving them,
you
people that
can't
ain't
help
even on their life.
nobody till you help yourself first. If you helping
Yeah,
somebody before you help you misusing yourself.
right. You giving too much energy to them people. That, first of all, they're gonna take your energy. They're
You
gonna
gonna
take
remain,
everything
you
that
gonna
you
stay
giving to
depleted.
them.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they gonna move from you. They're gonna act like they don't even know you. So that's why I had to come on here and ask you that, because I know you was gonna get a light to the people. They
Hey,
already light, but you finna brighten their light even
somebody want to
wider.
know if you from Mississippi too.
I'm from Miss. Nah, I ain't from Mississippi. I'm from I'm from I'm from Florida. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Y'all, it's crowded down here right now. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Mississippi got so much power over Florida right now. Mississippi, if you from Mississippi right now, you need to tap into who you really are, because Mississippi got so much power right now. Y'all just not tapping into y'all power right now. Y'all need to tap into y'all power right now and see what's really going on. See who y'all really are for yourselves. People in Florida right now, really don't know who they is right now. But I'm from Florida and I know who I am. I know my worth. I know my powers.
I'm
And
gonna tell you
I'm not
this.
even I'm not even trying to get everybody to see who they is. Because if you don't gravitate to my frequency, you don't gravitate to my frequency. Well, if you do, you're gonna gravitate and you're gonna move and you're gonna come back. But I had to come on here and I had to ask you that question, because there's a lot of people on here that's rising up. I'm not even gonna say waking up. That's rising up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Wondering why they rising up. You rising up because you know how powerful you is, but you really don't know how powerful you is. But when you tap into how powerful you are, you can go ahead and move. You can go ahead and know who you are. You're gonna tap into your gifts and your powers, and you're gonna move like Rod said, like move. Stop playing with yourself. Stop playing with yourself. Cause nobody ain't playing with yourself but yourself. But go ahead.
You know that's a paradox of reality too, because reality got you thinking that everybody else playing with you when you really just playing with yourself.
Right.
You
You just
playing
play.
make believe. You playing make believe with a bunch of make believe motherfuckers pretending to be the character you taught them to play.
Mm-hmm. You
That's what your
playing the
book of life
person.
is.
Yeah. You playing the character that you done created for that person. So you finna create this character that you ain't, that you know you ain't, first of all. And then you finna play it for that person to see what you can get out that person. Don't stop playing that character. Play yourself. And if when you play yourself and that person don't accept you for who you are, move on, because you need to be yourself. You don't need to be somebody else that you don't even love. You don't even love that person that you are. You love yourself. Love yourself other than you love the character that you create. You
Look, when I was reading all them books and practicing all them religious practices in prison, when I decided to use it as a university in the monastery to build myself, I did not know that I would be called to come out here and tell these people why all these lies that they've been telling us is a lie.
mm-hmm.
I never did. It never dawned on me that my self-improvement program would make me qualified to perform a higher work. When I was doing it, that wasn't my goal. My goal
At
was
all.
to, I see me how I am, and I say, how can I make me better? One of
Right.
the things that all of the um, motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, religious speakers, the writers, they all had one common thread. And that one common thread focused on seeing yourself for who you are in order to improve yourself for where you weak.
And I don't even know if a bunch of people will get this, but when you had to overcome that to where you know that you had to come out here and speak for what you're doing right now, basically. But how you giving people the light that you giving? First of all, you already giving your light to everybody else to jump on here and tell people about what's going on and about everything else. Like you had to sit there and dawn on yourself, like, dang, I ain't even really ready for this. But I gotta give it to where I know I gotta give it to because these people need that. That's where I was at 2 years ago. I was like, bro, I know my light, and I know I gotta give it to everybody, but everybody ain't gonna accept what I'm finna give to them. So you had to come to
That
yourself
never
like, no,
crossed
I
my
know everybody.
mind. That never crossed my mind that everybody aren't going to accept it.
I
That was a foregone conclusion that I already was aware of.
Yeah,
Because I
they ain't crossing my mind
understood,
either.
yeah.
The thing that crosses my mind is people that comment, and you know how you be on Facebook sharing wisdom and knowledge. It's people that come on there and be like, oh, this is false. I was at that point where like, damn, what I'm gonna say about people that say it's false? What I'm gonna say about people that say I ain't gonna say nothing to them. Because if they ain't on that level, then they don't get it. I'm just gonna talk to the people that gravitate to this and that don't want to elevate.
My mama told me growing up, and this is part of who I am, because she told it to me so much growing up, and I found it to be true repeatedly, right?
Right.
She said, don't think people ain't gonna talk bad about you. Don't think people ain't gonna talk about you behind your back. Don't think
Mm-hmm.
that when you trying to do something good, somebody not gonna come try to stop you and make it turn to something bad.
Right.
And I asked her how she know. She said, baby, look, if they talked about Jesus and they don't think you better than Jesus, what make you think they ain't gonna talk about you?
They don't want to talk about that. The J word, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
The
right.
J is just an eye bent into a fish hook so I can make you fisher of men in this false reality of the Piscean age.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Well, we in the Isaian age right now, so
no,
all that's falling down right now.
we in Aquarius now.
Yeah, all that's falling down right now.
We crossed
So
the Maherta. We found the matriarchs. You know what I'm saying? This is a done deal. We Aquarius. We finna start celebrating like the fifth dimension.
yeah,
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius.
yeah,
Aquarius. We
it's a
there,
done
baby.
deal. It's
Yeah.
a done
All right,
deal.
man. I'm gonna let you drop down because man, you'll be on here for hours.
Yeah,
But
go
I'm gonna
ahead.
let somebody else stuff so I can get a couple more in
Go.
before I wrap it up.
All
So
right,
I'm
go
starting
ahead. Go. All right, do
to
your
get
thing.
hungry now. All right.
All right, peace.
I can't see
I
you, but I can hear you.
am amazing. I'm amazing. I'm so happy I got on here. I just have to say to you, you have been a big influence on my walk through this Morris science. Uh, Man, to become a righteous Moor has been a thing for me. And I really appreciate you. I'm going to be honest. You keep me in my studies. I eat from my Circle 7 every day. Honestly, you have a lot to do with that, keeping me in my highest self. So I wanted to come on here and give you your flowers too, because you just don't know how much, like, I am such a big fan. In my head, when I first seen you, I was like, oh my God, that's like my husband in my head, like the perfect husband. So I'm just so grateful that I'm able to see you. Always so grateful that you connect with me. Yeah, so I just wanted to come and give you some love and just tell you, like, you be having me on my stuff. So I appreciate
You
you.
know, a lot of us is not gonna see the greatness of Noble Drew Ali until they get the Dirty Moors out.
It's long,
Once,
yes. Come on.
once, look, once Angel Bay get home and he cleaned it up,
Hmm.
and we only got righteous Moors, that's when we gonna really see the greatness of Noble Drew Ali.
It's
And
long.
it's the same thing with Marcus Garvey because now you have a group of infiltrators of the UNIA's descendants still trying to tear him down. And
Crazy. That's wild.
we don't understand the greatness of those two and the importance they was for the era of what was taking place on the land. The only thing that stopped Marcus Garvey for real is when he went into the Masonic lodges and started reading the legends and found out we was in the Conjure War. We found
Oh,
out
come
we
on.
was in the Conjure War. The Conjure War outline also has the remedy. The remedy is to educate yourself above the condition in order to break the amnesia. So
That's wild.
he had to fall back. But if you go back and look at the pictures, Gary was building an army of us.
Mm,
But remember,
mm.
Garvey didn't get taken down by the pale face. He got took down by some
No,
niggas. It was the
that's right. And
it
so did
was the
Prophet Noble Drew
yeah.
Ali. It's wild.
When Noble Drew Ali started the Moorish Science Temple, he could go get you. He sent a grand sheik wherever you at in their custody and walk out of there with you. These Moors can't do that now. You see the rise of the Moors. They don't.
Yes, it's wild.
Somebody went behind his back and contracted with the government.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's where the
Yeah.
problem came at. And all that's got to come out in order for us to, and it ain't for nobody else. It's only for us.
Islam. Yes.
It's only for
Can I
us. It's
ask
only
you?
for us to know the greatness of the greats. And we don't care if nobody else on the earth don't accept our leadership and the guidance that they left for us, as long as we understand what they did, why they was doing what they was doing. And then when we get to expose the infiltrators and realize they look like us and they
Yes.
ain't us,
Yes. Come on.
squabble up.
Squabble up. So can I
Squabble up.
ask you this? This is what I have to say to you. So when I did, because I was a part of the Holy Temple of Science first, and when I went to change my documents with my name, because I did it from the state I'm from, which is in Colorado. I went before a European judge, and do you know when she asked me why I was changing my name, and I said, well, it was the name of my ancestors before slavery. She says, you did your homework, didn't you? Why would she be saying this to me? And she said it to me 3 times. She said, I love when you say it. I just want to hear you say it because you really did the work on yourself. And it was just like, wow, I didn't even realize I was going to get that response. But I just have to say that a lot of times we're holding ourselves back because we don't want to go and ask in an intelligent tone down in City Hall where they'll give us a favorable reply. But we got to understand how we're supposed to ask and how we're supposed to show up in a righteous way, not in a dirty way.
But
So I have to give you praises. I just want to give you honors. I really do. And I thank you for being here.
look, they don't know noble character until they see noble character. When
That's
people
why.
come in there, the noble character, it's going to reveal the royal blood. How you
That's
carry
why.
yourself, if you got the right blood, if you got royal blood, you're going to carry yourself in a regal manner.
Definitely. That's
And
why.
the ones who's been trained, because a lot of the ones in the court buildings, the city hall, they've been trained to spot royalty when they see it.
That's why. Yes.
And when you carry yourself with the noble character, hence noble Ali, when you carry yourself with the noble character, you become exalted in the eyes of the ones that's in the pseudo power positions, because now they can see you as an Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ali is the top family, first family.
That's why.
But he's
Yes,
telling
royal family.
you the story in his name.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Come on.
Yeah. So the
Yes.
royal
Yes.
blood is the nobility drew out of the Ali, the royal house. You can put it no simpler than that. And more
Yes.
science is predicated into being to see beyond the sight of regular men. That's what they
That's
call.
why.
They be calling the adept chambers and all that, and that sensationalism around it. It ain't what they think it is. They think they finna go in the adept chambers as a building, and it ain't no building.
It's not a building, no. That's what it's within you. You don't even understand how it's within you. I went through the adab chamber, quote unquote, in the physical form, but coming out in the spiritual form, it's a total difference. I walked out a different woman. I walked out a different person. Let me say that I did. it did something to me within. So it definitely tapped in the inside of me.
So Ty's been teaching civics for damn near 60 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that have been studying under him for 60 years still don't know civics. And I got it in 1 year studying Taj. I got all of the civics lessons I need, but they looking for him to do something that he not supposed to do.
Yes, you have to
Right.
do it.
When I was studying Moorish metaphysics, quantum physics, I ended up catching C. Freeman Hill. C. Freeman Hill's royalty radiates through his personality.
Oh, I swear that's my grandfather. I swear it's my grandfather.
As
See,
they say in the hood, he's too smooth with it.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, he polished,
Islam.
right? So you got different people that they got different stuff. Like when I found the Moorish tribal connection, listening to Hakeem Bey, he thinking that he not realizing that the dirty Moors and the righteous Moors was put into the same temple. But he giving you the tribal history. He ain't supposed to know that unless he from the tribes. Because the dirty Moors ain't going to accept it. They going to try to tie all of the tribal traditions to Moorish science when Moorish science is European in origin.
Come on. So Uncle Rod, let me say this. Because my mother's grandfather, so my great grandfather was a chief of the Chata nation of the territory, and it's actually on record where he shows it. They couldn't go in and wipe his name out or where he was birthplace or none of that. So to make sure that that was done, and my grandfather, I'm originally from Pueblo, Colorado. So being from Pueblo, my ancestors on my father's side are Mexican from old Mexico and Cuba from Cuba. Cuban from Cuba. My mother's Cherokee Choctaw, so same tribe here. But I'm my mom's only direct daughter. I'm the only child she had. So directly descended from a tribe. I know that we were here already. So it just resonated with me so much when I started listening to you speak on that and watching an Empress Redbird and the Chief in Louisiana, like just watching all of that. It always resonated with me because they say my great grandfather was he froze to death in the mountains, but there's no way he could have because he rode horseback. He knew what he was doing. You know, he was used to the elements of the weather, so someone had to take him out. So it's just you just brighten me up
99%
so
right on
much.
that, because ain't none of us from the land gonna ever get caught and froze in the wilderness. That's just not gonna happen.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
we know the land. And I knew how to build a fire in the middle of the woods if I was by myself because it got cold when I was 7 years old.
Come on now.
So niggas can tell me, old ass man that then came up on this land with the mamas we had and the big papas and big mamas we had. No way. You not gonna not know how to start a fire by the time you 10. So how you gonna tell me you gonna freeze to death? We knew how to we learned how to build forts as boys for fun.
Come on now. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know some other people want to get up here, but let me just give you your honors. I love you, Uncle Rod.
All right.
Keep doing your thing.
I
You
appreciate
keep me
it.
going.
All right. Thank you.
Peace. Uh-huh.
Thanks, God. What's going on with you?
Oh man, it's a pleasure. A long time coming, man. You heard me. I'm just tapping in with you. Like I say, everybody that come on, I gotta give you the flowers. Even just me being able to catch you on live, I got everything I'm looking for already. You know what I'm saying? So it's just tapping in and listening for real. I already got what I was looking for. Like I say, I come up in the Christian and Islamic. My grandmother was Christian. My grandfather was Muslim. So then my uncle, I got knowledge of self with the 5 percenters when I was 13. And then I got more into, like Dr. John Henrik Clark, Dr. Yosef Ben Yak, and then all the way up into Brother Polite and them come out. Then I ran across RFG. Then when you came out, I'm telling you, you just topped everything off because you got everything that's metaphysical and the keys to the mystery, but also you put it in layman's terms where we can understand and know how to move on everyday action. So I just got a question to say, like, what is it that we as young men do to help the matriarchy or help our feminine, divine feminine, to get towards the information or break the paradigm of being a part of the system?
That come with accept your own, be yourself, is how Elijah Muhammad said. Or be yourself and accept your own.
Yep.
Your own is the ones who vibrate. Like, for instance, if your tribe is Crip, you're gonna naturally gravitate toward blue shit.
Facts.
And you gonna know.
Right.
And the way you see him Crip walking, that's gonna be the coolest thing you ever seen in your life.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
Then when you see how they be working out, lifting weights, you can be, wait a minute. This my people right here. I'm gonna throw this C up.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with me. I'm growth and development from birth.
Yes, sir.
I knew who Larry Hoover was before I heard his name. Right? My mama knew him personally. My mama knew Jeff Ford personally.
Right.
My mama knew Benny Lee personally. My mama knew Mickey Boer personally. She knew Mickey Caldwell personally. Right? Like, she was thugged out on the west side of Chicago.
Right.
And then her and my daddy got married and they moved to Michigan and pretended like they were some middle class people. But she got her stripes as a outlaw vice lord biker. A lot of the modern day vice lords don't even know that they got an affiliation with the outlaw vice lord bikers. The outlaw term came from what the government called us when we wouldn't do business with them. Non-treaty tribes, outlaw tribes. Right? The bikers was a tribe. Now we call them all Hell's Angels because the Hell's Angels is the largest biker tribe on the land, and they was instructed to form a biker roundtable with the leaders from all of the clans, the biker clans, in order to bring peace back to the land. They all with it.
Yeah.
You know. Then we got another clan, the truckers. They used to carry the caravans of foodstuffs from family farms to family members in certain destinations.
Right.
This is the same place your mail system came from, your Pony Express.
Right.
All of that was already on the land. We was doing that. We even had trolley cars before 1492 delivering products. We had underground trolleys because we didn't want to spoil the surface of the earth. And most of us don't know about that. So when they talk about the Underground Railroad, it rings true to us because we literally had our railing system as subways across the land. A lot of them got blew up, but hey.
Yeah, when you think about the oil mining and coal mining and all that, like the industrial age, because I'm from Baltimore, so it's like Baltimore since the industrial age and all the factories and everything, it's like we've been overstricken with poverty and this whole poverty mentality and crab mentality and all that. So it's like I understand the nature of being deprived of the information and knowing who we are and having the knowledge of self.
Yeah. And well, they had to erase us out of history. And the only way we can find us in history is to find us in the self. Then they gave us the history books that they controlled the flow of. That's why I don't like doing debates, because I got to argue my enemy's point.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Nah, man, it's a pleasure, man. Like I say, I'm always tapping in. It's crazy because when I saw you go live, I was just listening to you. I'm on the Brain Banging page. I'm on the university page. I'm on all the pages for real. So it's like I'm tapped in, man, and I'm gonna keep saluting you, and I'm gonna keep doing the work that I can do.
For sure, man. That's all we can do. We can only do what we can do.
Yes, sir. And I got that music too. So I do music. You know, that's my convey of how I share what I'm learning and on my journey for real. So yeah, it's a pleasure, man. Just keep doing what you do, Lord, and I'm gonna keep saluting you and being a mirror image until we get to where we need to be.
Oh, we getting there too fast as hell at breakneck speed. But it seems like it's slow to all of the ones that don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's Godspeed. It's
Yeah.
Godspeed. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure, man. I'm gonna drop down and peace to the God.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What's on your mind?
I can't see you. Am I supposed
Um,
to be?
yeah, I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Um. First, I wanted to compliment you. I guess. I appreciate your range of the topics that you have a lot of knowledge on. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, thank you.
Um. I have a question about if you produce something that people use for like a spiritual tool.
Hmm.
Um, how can you go about blocking them from draining your energy because you produced it and they're using it as a tool?
When you Okay, so this is what the shamans used to do.
Okay.
When, let's say, for instance, I'm an artist and somebody commissioned me to do a tarot deck.
Yeah.
I don't want my energy to be permanently tied to the tarot deck. So I create, um, we used to call them satchels. And I would put the tarot deck in there, put it in salt before I give it to the person to remove with the intent. Because it got to be conscious, willful intent. And being a shaman, you would know how to focus your intent on cleansing your energy from the deck before the transfer. When the transfer comes, any good tarot reader is supposed to charge their deck. That's where you took your energy off. They had to put their energy on in order to be able for their subconscious to control the flow of the cards. That's just an example. The same thing work when you make a talisman or anything like that. But some stuff you want your energy to stay on. Like, let's say, for instance, they commissioned me to paint a mural. My
Right.
energy is what it expands my reach and resource, and it also contributes my energy to the society or all of the viewers of the mural. But private artifacts, like let's say I commission a guy who molds steel to make me a knife for my kitchen. He can, when he get done forging a knife and putting it in that, he can leave it sitting on salt overnight. Um, they used to sit it on salt mixed with something called saltpeter. It's like a sawdust, and they would put the knives on them to take their personal energy out, but then they have to do one more forge. And a lot of times the person who was having the artifact made left something of theirs to be infused into the artifact in order for it to have their energy prominently in it. A good example is when Shaka Zulu was having his spear made. He had to describe to the shaman his energy that he wanted infused into the spear. Then he had to link the energy once it was done, right?
As a weapon.
Yeah. So the shaman have to disassociate his energy in order for Shaka to successfully attach his. They use the water element for it over there. For most people that work with steel uses the water element as a purification of the steel. That's why they
Okay.
always dipping it in water and dip it in the water, cool it down, heat it up.
I have kind of a funny story about the tarot thing that you were talking about energy transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to I used to go to a tarot group. This has been years ago, and I always knew that my energy was a lot stronger than the people that I was sitting next to, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And someone asked to borrow my deck, and I was kind of particular about that. Some people I wouldn't let them, but he was okay, and I let him. Well, he would always take a pendulum and put it over his deck to center it to himself, and he couldn't. He couldn't do it over my energy on my deck.
Yeah.
It really upset him. He was like, I was like, well, it's my deck. You can, that's me, right, sitting there on that energy.
He didn't tell
But
you. He didn't tell you what that mean though.
what he was doing,
No, no, no. When he couldn't make it center on your deck, he didn't ever tell you what that meant.
for me, it meant he couldn't control that deck because my energy was all over it and he couldn't override it.
That's
Is
part of
that
it.
correct?
That's part
Okay.
of it. But it was also he supposed to told you that you're not supposed to lend your deck to nobody.
Well, technically, it was my deck that I had just purchased, but as soon
Matter.
as it reaches my hand, it's mine, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it don't matter.
And
When you when
the deck, I
when you
didn't care
accepted
for.
it as yours,
I
you not a
didn't go.
you had to for it not to cooperate with him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I had just purchased the deck right before I went to this shop, this group meeting or whatever. And as I was flipping through it, I was like, I didn't really like some of the major cards, right? That I kind of have to, like before I, want to use the deck.
Mhm.
And I'd only had it for like half an hour or something. And I was like, well, you can have the deck because I didn't want it. I only spent like $15 on it or something. And when I tried to transfer it to him, he couldn't override it. And so I was like, well, So I cleared it off for him, but it was just an interesting thing because it surprised him.
But
Um,
in your tradition, like for instance, your personal decks that you use, you're not supposed to let people handle them unless you're doing a reading for them.
there was a couple that I would do that with, but most of them I won't. Some of the people's energy, I wouldn't let them touch them. I
Mm.
didn't care if I was doing a reading for them or not.
Right. Now
And then, of
that's a
course, I didn't do
that's
it
a
with
spiritual
everybody.
self giving you instructions on people you ain't supposed to interact with. If you can't,
Yeah,
if you feel that energy, say don't let them mix energy. That mean that get the motherfuckers away from you.
yeah. Well, this was a public thing that I couldn't control who was there, but I just stopped interacting. I haven't been there for years.
Hmm.
My
That's
my
why it's not for
concern.
everybody. Only certain. You might not be one who you do public. You need your own space where you have people come in that you interact with personally as,
Right.
as a priestess, so that when they come in, you smudge them in the mud porch. You're doing smudging ritual before they enter into your chamber or where you read at, and it also it makes your message so much clearer. It's almost like you reading words from a book while you describing it to them.
I don't do readings for other people anymore.
Yeah,
Just my dog. Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
They were too
I don't do
accurate.
readings for people either.
They were
Not with the
too
deck.
accurate.
Yeah.
In fact, the oddest story I had doing tarot. I had a stranger wanted me to prove that tarot was real, and I was fairly new at it, so I didn't realize how that might have some circumstances around it.
Hmm.
Her reading was too accurate. I found out about his ex that he had witnessed dying and all kinds of stuff. Scared the shit out of him. Scared me too because I was like, hey man, I don't know why I'm hearing all this. But I was fairly. This was a long time ago. My only concern about what you're talking about as far as the energy transferring and clearing it, that's more of a, I'm giving you an item that I have handled, that I have, that I'm transferring to you. What I'm going to be producing, I'm actually painting the tarot deck, but which means it will have my energy because I've created it, right? It has my vision and how I'm seeing the cards and stuff, but it's going to be mass produced to a certain extent where it's going to be printed somewhere and printed or shipped to them, and I won't ever, I won't see any of that process. So
Right. Okay. So before you send it to be mass produced, then you have to spread all your cards out and face them up and under the full moon, and order your energy to remove itself from the cards. You are the author of that. So, and then you explain why you looking at the deck, you looking over them. You got to explain to your energy what you don't want them to do, and or
Okay.
they're going to do it automatically.
Now, see, I'd already thought about that. The deck itself is melanated people, and I was concerned about that being something that would be a target for some people. Does that make sense?
Hmm
I mean,
Most of the
that's the
people,
extreme.
most of the people
And
that
how,
deal with tarot decks is really good people.
yeah,
Most of them,
yeah,
yeah, most of them not in it for the BS. I
yeah.
wouldn't
Most of,
worry. I
yeah,
wouldn't
I would
worry
say
too
that.
much about that part. I would, before I send it out to be mass produced, I would give my energy instructions to separate from the results of the
From
card
you.
readings
Okay.
and any of the magic done with the cards.
Yes.
But you want to do it under now. Why I tell you to put it under the moonlight? Do you know?
Uh, I haven't done too much moon magic. Some of it backfired on me, so I don't really mess with it.
You know
So
tarot
yeah.
is moon magic, right?
Hmm.
Tarot is moon magic. It's
Um.
100% moon magic. It's derived from
I'm not
moon magic.
disagreeing. I'm just saying that I don't. I
Listen,
never
listen,
really.
listen what I'm
Okay.
explaining to you.
Okay.
Tarot cards are moon magic. This the feminine silver cord energy that's called the silver key, the lunar key, the key to the magic of the moon, which governs the night life, and the night light becomes the moon. The moon is the light that illuminates the darkness in the mind of the oracle. This is why they all pay homage to the moon with the crescent on their head. And the crescent takes many positions based off the user's energy field. The tarot was written by Tahuti in its origin, or Thoth. And the purpose of the tarot was to train the psychic to see in the darkness of their mind, using the training of the tarot in order to illuminate the darkness to tell you what it sees in the images. The reflection of the solar light, which comes from the sun magic, which is astrology, astronomy. What's your astrological sign? Now you're using the sun to reflect the moon magic. But all of the magic in the tarot card is infused from moon magic ritual rites of the oracles of the earth. It was designed to train oracles to be able to not need the cards no more. That's why it was originally created. In order for you to have a language that you can translate the unknown into the known before the actual event or in the real time of the event. Sometimes you do a tarot spread that's more impressive that the person know what's going on in their life right now than it is in 5 years. But in another tarot spread, it's more pressing that they know what they need to do now to be prepared for this event that's to come in about 5 years. So when they read the card, the tarot reader reading comes out and you'll know the time frame from what it is referring to. What's their tower moment, right? Do their tower moment seem such a far away because he's only beginning his journey as the fool? Or do it look like it's materialized and mature as he sits up on his throne as the emperor, right? So you're reading the energy. Each each energy comes with symbols and signs. The symbolism that you use to infuse a new deck that you create is your subconscious instructions on how to train your future um, trainees in the art of reading their subconscious mind, and you use the art in your cards as the tool for the training. But what you don't want is the bad kids that's breaking into the school that's trying to be funny using the dark arts to use your energy, your creation, because you concerned about the karmic backlash. When you put it under the moon and you instruct it not to participate in the shenanigans, then when people try to use it to do what's wrong with it, it's going to force them to do something right. Because you took your energy off of it and it has to have balance. They
And
have
it's
to
gonna
charge it.
boomerang.
Yeah. So that's
Wow,
why
you,
I was asking you if you knew what kind of magic tarot was, because it's absolutely moon magic.
I had no idea that. I mean, I always thought that they were, a lot of the tarot decks do a lot of Hecate, homage and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and they use the moon, of course. But when I picked up tarot, I was trying to figure out why I was able to read energy so well. And when I would tell people certain things, they didn't believe me. But if I lay down a card, then they believe me. Does that make sense?
It's used
A
for
lot of times I
too.
didn't need those cards.
Yeah,
Huh?
that was the second level of tarot reading. That you really don't need them, but
Hmm.
you use them for the person who don't understand what you're doing to have something as a frame of reference.
Right.
So now they say that you interpreting the cards, or you're not interpreting the cards, you interpreting the
Energy.
energy. You use
You taught me
you
so much
yeah.
here.
So now you use it as a tool. That's the magician's wand. It's a second phase. But once you get to where you can communicate so clearly with a person that the communication prints the card in their mind, that's when you don't need the cards no more.
But see, what you told me today, just with that kind of, you know how like you'll hear something and it puts things that you were kind of had question marks and it kind of lines all up.
Yeah.
That explains a lot of the activity on the airwaves in the last couple years. I stopped reading tarot and it was coming in whether I was going to read the tarot or not, I think.
Yeah. So so you're reading the tarot, you're going through the three stages. The first stage is learning how to interpret the energy, right? That's the first level of it. Because you're looking at the card, you don't know what it means, you don't know what it feel like, but you got to figure out, how do I tune into this card in order for me to know when I see this energy what it is?
Right.
Because it's gonna play out in real life, but now you got to translate. You have to flip your tarot lens into the world. You're not gonna learn that before you learn how to interpret the energy of the card. Now,
Right.
now that you know how to interpret the energy, you go into what's called phase two, which is the practice phase. The practice phase is you need to build a language stock of communication techniques where you don't need the card for the other person to understand when you're reading the energy that you accurate. They need the magician to have the wand, but the magician can wield the magic with or without the wand.
Right.
Now, if you catch the magician away from his magical supplies and he have no wand, he can still do the magic. Now, in the class two of tarot reading and using it as the wand, as the tool, right, is to train you as a maestro to and conduct the orchestra of the energy. Now you're going to make the song every time you translate for a different person. That's a different song. Now you being maestro with the wands. The wands is the cards. The people fixated on the wands, just listening in the back of their mind for the music. But it don't come from the back of their mind. You spew it out as the translation to the cards. This is training the reader how to communicate with so many different types of people in translations of the energy that eventually you'll be to talk to so many people about the cards that you could see the card in your head without ever holding the deck and explain to them the energy so clearly that it's like you reading it right out of their book of life, because that's where it's coming from. But you have to teach yourself. Now, once you get to the point where you can communicate with so many different people, you can explain the energy that you're reading in the common language so clear that they can almost see their life playing out in the words you speaking, translating their energy back to them. Now you can do it without the cards. It's about building that communication between the listener and the speaker is the reader, right? Now, children love to be read to naturally. People
Tarot?
read books,
Oh,
read, right? Children, they done that too. We call it ABC cards. Just still tarot read,
right.
right? But they love to be read to because it's the human nature of exchange of information from parent to child. The child loves to hear the parents read. They love to hear the parents speak, right? They drawing out of the child all of the energy that is the parent and the child by that communication, because humans learn from other humans. The first teacher is the mother. The second teacher is the father. The mother teaches him about life. The father teaches him how to navigate that map mama just gave him. So once you get to your levels of communication, you realize that humans exchanging information, when you're doing tarot reading, you're actually reading a book to a child in adult form. And it's their book coming from their life. You open in their book of life because you're reading their energy and you're going through what's in this chapter for you, what's on this page for you, what's 3 pages in on this chapter. That's what you read. It's the reflection of their book of life that's written in who they are, like binary codes on the matrix. You using the cards as the lens, because once you get to the point where you can read without the cards, you can see the streamer.
Didn't you say that the Book of Life is like what they call the Akashic records or whatever?
Yeah, that's the eternal records of everything in existence, and each person comes in with their own book of life. They book of life tell them every single micro step of what they're going to do. It just seems stretched out because it's holographic in nature. That means every single part have the full collection of the whole, and the whole is a reflection of every single part. It's holographic, right? It's 3-dimensional fixed position holographic memory. The fixed position aspect of 3-dimensional reality is the density of matter. The density of matter is what lets you know that you're going to have to stop at the chair instead of walk through the chair, because you can do both. But you want to follow the rules of the dimension in that you in order to create harmony and balance in the world around you. So you follow the 3D rules. When the chair comes, you stub my toe, right? Because you need to feel. You need to feel because in 4th dimension mind matrix, you just information. In 3D, you need to feel. Is you an emotional creature? Your emotions is your navigation system. Once you learn to read your emotions get to tell you when to turn left, when to turn right, and that's what they call your instinct. It's keen instinct, divine keen instinct. And this is why when the devil set traps for you, the Lord leads you around them. That's your mama's spirit, because she's floating you through the matrix. The matrix is the mother womb of creation. That's why it's called matrix. Matrix mean womb. And when you research and locate the matrix, it's in something called a mitochondria. And it's all holographic in nature. It's telescopic. Zoom in, zoom out. And that's the training of the psychic mind to operate in the 3 dimension as an intellectual and emotional being. In balance allows you to see clearest throughout the planes. And when you say planes, you're talking about when you look out your window and you see what look like depth. That's the plane of depth. It's laws of physics that govern how you perceive your depth, right? Just like height. Height is depth going up, right? But down is nowhere. Down is right where your feet stop, because you got the law of density telling you that in order to have something called down, you need a base. A base means a fixed position. So this is what you call foundation of the construction, right? So you build the man from the feet up, right? The feet is learning to walk. You got to learn how to walk before he can learn how to run. So as you build, this is building the Temple of Solomon, aka the Temple of Man. The development of the child is the building blocks of the temple, using the psychic energy to bring fourth dimension into 3 dimension, bringing fifth dimension into 2 dimensions in order for the fifth dimension to manifest 3-dimensionally. We following the steps, and it's all read in the streamer, and the psychic readers is the readers of the ticker, and it's tied to every individual. You can read his part, right? But while you reading his part, you can't tell him nobody else's part unless it's in his part. And this is how your tarot reading becomes accurate, because you can only see and read within a field or a prism of that individual. In his macabre, that upward and downward pyramid that looked like a 6-point star, right? Metatron's cube of the energy. You can only read what's in that field. So if it doesn't cross that field, it doesn't translate into energy in the accurate tarot reader's translation. They can see each one of the light rays as it breaks through the prism into its own source of light. So now you can say, I got 7 interactions breaking into your matrix. I mean, you got 7 people dealing with your energy field that's translating right now, right? So now you tell them, okay, well, this one is red, yellow, blue, green, but whatever the 7 spectrum is color-wise, based on how it feels, they is in relation to them. And now you got a card that mirrors each one of the energies. And as the tarot reader, the card that comes up that your subconscious stack, matching everything up, when you flip it, now you got the card that's reflecting the energy that's coming from this person's prism of light that's telling you his life story. That's the Akashic record. That's the fabric, creative fabric that is reading the streamers in the matrix, and the book of life of each individual is all tied together by unified field theory. I ain't mean to go that far, but.
Okay, so, all right. All right, so that was a lot. It kind of, it's making me see things a little differently, in the sense where, okay, when I did used to read tarot, I approach tarot differently. I approach it like I do everything else in life, in the sense where I don't care what my bank account might say right now, but it's going to have this in this many hours. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people call that crazy, but I have proven over and over and over and over again I can do that shit. All
You a
right. So I
McDollar.
know, huh?
You a McDollar.
I'm
A
a what?
McDollar.
A McDollar?
Yeah. It's a priestess. It's a certain type of priestess, as in Mary of Magdalene, Mary of Magdala. She was a priestess from a priestess order. And it's your job is to use mandalas to write the future by how y'all feel,
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
to tie everybody's creative potential into the new reality that's being created.
Okay, so if I'm approaching, like you said, the unified field, as far as I'm concerned, if you're, say you're looking at this hologram or whatever. Oh, you can't even see my hands. I can't see you. You can't see me. But all right. So if you put your hands like you're holding an energy ball, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna pull a little thread right in there and bring whatever I want to me. Okay. I know other people don't see the world that way, and it can get real crazy and can get real hectic. But when I was reading tarot, one of the reasons why I stopped reading tarot as I was getting way too much information off of people I didn't want to know, right?
Trust me, I understand. The more
And
than you
half
know.
of it, they would just be like, I can't believe you know that. Well, I'm touching your shit. You're asking about your ex, and I'm telling you all kinds of shit you need to fix. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stuff like that. They used to call me I was a tough reader. I didn't, I'm just gonna tell you like it is. This is it. But I noticed that that there will be people that will get a tarot reading and never change anything in their life. They don't use it. They don't use the information you give them.
Hold
And
on, stop,
so,
stop, 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 stop. No, you
what?
can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. That's probably why you're not doing it anymore.
Oh
That's
no,
the
I just got
wrong.
tired of it.
That's the wrong
Yeah.
way of looking at delivering the message. It ain't your job for them to do something or not do something. You the
Oh
messenger.
no, I didn't pressure
Listen,
him.
you the
Okay, so
messenger. Your job is to just deliver the messages. You're not supposed to be disgruntled or overly elated about whether they follow through with changing because of the message. It might have been
mhm.
the message that's telling them to stay the same that you think is telling them to make a change, but they know what you're talking about better than you do because they know they self.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. But okay, where I was going with that is I think some people don't approach reality in the same way in the terms of they can mold it and they can shift it. And so to me, because I don't, I could be wrong, okay? I'm open to being wrong, but I don't feel that all of us at least, are not on some railroad track and it's all predestined and you have to do this and you have to do that because it's in a book somewhere or in your energy field. You shift and you change, you move and you move the reality. So, but I think a lot of people that I did readings for, they weren't like that, I guess is what I'm getting to, where um, it was stagnant energy that just stayed stagnant, and they just wanted to know what I could tell them about what they had no. A lot of them felt like they didn't have a choice in the matter. Like whatever was in the cards was just in the cards. So yeah, I was a good tarot reader, but I wouldn't say I was a good tarot reader. Does that make
I
sense?
don't think you was doing it for them. I think you was doing it as a training program for you in your self-development program. And
That I
at
wasn't
that
aware I
time,
was on.
yeah, no, at that time, that was the tools you was using because you was also testing your temperament, right? And your
Yeah.
ability to associate, dissociate as an empath. You giving me the training module codes for that reading type. You just use it as a tool. It was a training program. When
Yeah.
you
See, I
accept
didn't
it
know
as a
training.
lesson, when you accept it as a lesson, it can't be a loss. But in order to accept it as a lesson, you got to be able to learn from it.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I would agree with that totally. Totally.
I know. That's
And
why you're not doing it no more. Because it didn't match your temperament. That means that you had to test your temperament to find where your strengths and weaknesses was. That's part of your self program of self initiation into the self. And nobody write that but you because you the only one know yourself well enough to tell you if I put myself through this, I'm definitely not gonna go this route. You don't only one know yourself that well because you're the only one can write your book of life. It was a training program. You ain't the only one
hmm.
use it either. I use it exactly like you use it. Test my temperament and find out what being able to see into other people's energy and my own, how will I react to it? And this is where I learned to keep my composure dealing with people that don't agree with me. Because I had to keep my composure when the universe tell me something I definitely don't want to fucking hear.
Oh yeah,
No,
that got real old.
yeah.
That got real old.
So that give me a lot of what appears to be patience, but it ain't patience. It's experience that's coming across as patience, because process has to take place in order for the lesson to process.
I'd agree. I wouldn't say I have patience necessarily. I have emotional control.
But
So
emotional control can also be mistaken as a sense of patience. Just like mine
yeah,
is experience, yours is emotional control. I got good EQ, but you know, but the goal now is I was able to give you some insight into some things about what you was doing from
hmm
experience. In the same,
I would have never called that moon magic.
yeah. You can, as a matter of fact, you can Google that. Tarot cards is moon magic. It's that commonplace or common knowledge. Um,
I was just
so,
using them.
huh?
I was just using them. I didn't even really do a lot of research.
Mhm.
I literally would say I could do this with I could see how after using tarot that you could do tea leaf readings or chicken bones or whatever. That's kind of how I used them. It was just a tool. I didn't do a lot of research on them other than the card meanings. That was
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, but that's
Wow.
yeah. But hey, you put yourself in a position to learn a great deal. Make sure you milk it for everything it's worth. And take that to the bank because you're gonna be well paid. You already
And I'm
did the
assuming
work.
you don't mean money wise. Huh?
And said you already did the work. Now you gotta go. Only way that you can get paid out on the experience is when the losses become the lessons, and then all of the L's flip to sevens for jackpots. You the only one can milk that. It's the only you got your own bank.
I see. I'm not following you on that one.
It's energy. By going back over everything you learned, the more things that you suddenly realize that you've learned,
Oh, I
that's
see
the
what you're saying.
flipping the L into the seven.
Yeah, sometimes I have blind spots on
Right.
just like that where you were talking about that was a training ground. I had no idea. I literally was just trying to help people. That was my only goal. I didn't even take money for readings or anything.
Mhm.
I never made one dime off of a reading.
Yeah, because
But
it
I
was
was trying
on